Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. Today we're looking at what dragon energy and dragon messages there are for you in your transformation, your growth, your manifestation, all of that kind of thing, coming into your own power. And anybody who's sort of familiar with this channel or knows me knows I love dragons, so I'm very excited about doing this reading. What we will be doing is we have as part of the choice a dragon energy. So I shuffled and asked spirit and dragon energy in particular to come through for each pile to be a kind of a main theme. But they also have, there's a second one under this, I don't know what it is, that is almost like their best friend forever, the kind of two that combine and collaborate to bring you a message, bring you power and those sorts of things. I hope that you're not hearing in the background there's somebody doing a little bit of gardening, sort of trimming trees. So hopefully that's not disturbing you too much. I don't think the microphone picks that sort of thing up that much, but if so, I do apologise. So as I say, we're going to have a duo of dragons to come and give you messages and advice for your transformation and manifestation and the building of your power and your connection to the dragon realms. And then we're going to use tarot to drill into more about what their power is that they're bringing you, what you can transform, what you can manifest, and look into that in more detail with oracles before we close out with bringing it back into your body and your 5D self for the full connection. So as I always do, I'll put down the numbers for the 3 piles to choose from for those that like to see that and choose that way. For those that like to use the cards or the energies of the cards as part of that choice, for pile number 1 we have the dragon for independence, and this is about carving your own path. For pile number 2 we have the dragon for vision, which is about contemplating your future. And for pile number 3 we have the dragon for returning, going with the flow. So if those concepts, freeing yourself to be truly yourself, taking your vision into the future, or potentially returning to something and getting it back into flow as part of the power you would like to manifest, that may help you choose. As I say, I don't know what the other dragon energy is, so we'll look at them both at the beginning in combination, but that may help you choose. Otherwise, maybe the visuals will, or whatever works for you. Pause the video and contemplate if you need to before choosing. When you do know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps, as always, are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So you have independence, the dragon of independence, carving your own path, and that dragon's best friend is a very interesting one. I think they have some interesting debates, these two, because the second one is understanding and looking at both sides. So just on first blush, it's not exactly opposite energy, but there is a kind of a push-pull energy here. And so I think that these dragons are together to help you truly have your independence, carve your own path, know that what is yours, and to be able to claim that, go forward and be true to yourself, very much so. But there is something in your situation, the dragons are saying, where to truly do that, to truly manifest what you want, to truly take that mastery, to be understood, to have the right relationship, the right career, whatever it might be, you do need to be able to see the perspectives of others. There may be a very powerful ally for you that gives you perspective or brings different things to the table so that together in an almost kind of Gestalt effect, the two of you are greater than either of you would be separately, or even more than one potentially. But to bridge this and to have the freedom but also have the perspective to get the best out of it, you do also need to be able to look at both sides. And in this card, you'll see the dragon is above a volcano, and the card talks about what is your choice here if you're sort of this person contemplating where to go at the bottom here. Is it better to go into the volcano? Is it better to fly on the dragon's back? Is it better to sort of be somewhere in between? When you understand all the facets of whatever this situation is, you can most truly be free. So there is something. You are in a situation, a negotiation, something that you don't have all the information at the moment. So this dragon is helping you find that, but is asking you to have a broader perspective. This dragon is saying, and this was the dominant one to bring you here, once you have that, you have to be true to yourself. So there may be compromises involved, but they are compromises that should naturally arise from you understanding the situation and how that impacts your goals and what you're trying to do. And that this is not selfish, it is about being authentic and being truthful. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail with tarot. Let's ask firstly, what is the dragon power energy in combination that these two are bringing to you now? So Sorry, and I just paused a bit because the noise was becoming a bit louder. I don't know whether it would have broken through. It's a little bit more distant now, so hopefully it's not bothering you. So, back to the tarot. So give us more information, please, about the dragon power and energy that is being brought to pile 1. Ace of Swords reversed, King of Swords upright, Hanged Man reversed. Oh, this is definitely about different perspectives. Queen of Swords, wow. Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so there is a very heavy emphasis on how you think in this, and that makes sense. When we have the second dragon here, is it about having different perspectives, and then we have the Hanged Man reversed, which is also about having a different perspective. It's about literally kind of standing up in the reverse, because when the hangman is hanging, they're seeing things from a different perspective, but this is actually taking that step yourself by being upright, by being able to stand in your truth but have a different viewpoint, surrounded by the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So, sorry, I just paused it again because it was getting very close. And as I say, I don't know whether you're hearing it, but if you are, it's probably quite irritating. So I just didn't want it to be too loud. But as I say, being straddled by the two major parts of the court cards for the thought process, and then the Ace of Swords reversed here and the Queen of Pentacles. There's two things that are occurring to me that could be operating here. One is a debate, literally, on who will lead out on something. And if that's the case, what this is saying, just as these two dragons in a way have met their match, they balance each other out. One is all about different perspectives, balancing things, justice, all of those sort of issues, and the other is all about freedom, will, and making sure that it's not too constrained. I feel that the King and Queen of Swords here is representing you and another person, if it's, say, in a love relationship or even in some form of debate. There are different perspectives, and both have a lot going for them, and both are mature. The interesting side about this could even be two sides within you when you have to think differently, because one side is very much about almost the rules, the regulations, the right thing to do. That's the energy of the King of Swords. But the Ace of Swords is reversed here. So this is why we have this dragon. It's saying that you need to release yourself from certain things where the should do's are getting in the way of what is authentic for you. On the other hand, over here with the Queen of Swords, we have a Queen of Pentacles. There is a choice that is philosophically true to you. There is a choice that is materially true to you. And so by having the different perspective and coming to this energy and looking at it both from what is right or wrong in the situation, and also what is sustainable, what is nourishing in the situation, what could you truly commit to, this is how you can bring the two things into balance. But you need to almost look at both of them as though they were two people and you were Solomon, having the wisdom of Solomon choice between the two, because there's nothing inherently wrong in either side. It's just that one is a little bit more restricted, so it doesn't fit with this energy. But to get to this one, you have to look at the other side of it. So, and if this is a love relationship, it's like both of you are probably more simpatico in terms of belief than you realize, but there's something about the way that one is communicating it and another is acting it out that appears different. By having the better conversation and both seeing the other perspective, it works out. So this is very clear. For pile 1, this is about belief and how you want to balance and manifest belief, and what you want to manifest as a result of your belief. But you can't be too restrictive, and you can't be too just my way or the highway. There's a balancing act that the dragons want you to think about, and that brings you the maximum power. So let's ask what, therefore, if you take on that advice and you really do look at both perspectives while maintaining almost the exit door, if you can't come to a good negotiated settlement, basically, like you do not have to compromise to the point that you are no longer free. That would be the wrong outcome. So if you do go into that and enter into that in whatever situation this applies to, what can the dragon power help you transform? Temperance. Death, 10 of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, yeah. This is definitely a choice for you between how much independence you want and how much connection with another, whether it's a love relationship, whether it's in a business or a kind of a creative partnership or something. What the Dragon Power is meant to do is to bring you into balance so that you can make a decision. It is suggesting that both are attractive to you, and that's what the issue is. So it could simply be, is a choice between, do I want in a relationship to settle down, kind of go into this area, have sort of intellectual freedom, but really commit and have the long-term family, all of that sort of thing? Or do I really want independence? In a business, it could be, do I want to be part of a large organization, have a career path, build my wealth and stability that way? Or do I want to, step out on my own and do things and be the self-made person? There is a decision here that you need to make, and you can't have both. But by looking at it differently, you can find the right balance to work out where this balance is. In fact, it's probably not right to say that you can't have both, pole one. It might be, it's just that you can't have both completely. You have the option of one or the other once you've looked at both sides and you've decided which is most authentic and free to you. Or you have the option of some sort of mid-road that is balanced between the two. So it may be, if this was a committed relationship, that you can, when you find you actually have quite a lot in common with the other person, and maybe they want a bit of independence too, have that kind of built-in thing where you are able to go out with your friends rather than be at home every night with your significant other or whatever, because they want to do that too. Or if it's in a workplace, it could be that maybe you do a part-time job that gives you security and stability, but you also have a side hustle. It is possible potentially to have both, but it really just comes down to you looking at both sides and deciding what works out for you. You're meant to ultimately make the choice that makes you feel most authentic and free. So that's what you can transform. You can transform an impasse where you're not making a decision, and you can transform something that seems a bit imbalanced at the moment so that you can make the best decision. So given that, what will the dragon energy help you manifest as a result of this? Okay. Nine of Cups reversed. Knight of Wands reversed. Page of Wands reversed. Ten of Wands reversed. Okay, we've got quite a conglomeration of things around action and energy. So what can you manifest? A little bit of taking your time until you have had a very clear idea what it is that you want to create, what it is that you want to manifest, and in doing that, the relief of a burden. But it is saying this is why you have to look at both perspectives, that you may have a viewpoint at the moment that you can have both these things. Let me just move this up so that you can see it. And you may be able to have a compromise between both, but you're not going to be able to have both in whole. So you can manifest through this some of your wish, but not all of it. And I don't think that the dragons are trying to say there's anything wrong with that. I think that they're saying that the process of doing this in itself is starting to get to what they want you to get to, which is true, authentic choices that look at both sides. So there is something about maturity, and I'm not meaning to say you're immature either, but there's something about understanding that and refining that process and getting it into balance, particularly with Nine of Cups reversed with the Temperance card. There is a sense of understanding, wisdom, I think, that comes from that, and a little bit of just holding back until you're sure, because the Knight of Wands, when it's upright, gets very excited about everything and rushes in. But it's saying that you've had a tendency in the past to do that before you truly knew what you wanted to create. And as a result, you may have felt caught sometimes in the shoulds and shouldn'ts, or you may have felt that you had to commit to things before you were ready. So this is to manifest for you a kind of prudent, mature attitude to things that actually relieves the burden. You may think that this sort of approach sounds slow and not as exciting as just going out full pelt for what you want, but understanding both sides and being able to make those more considered decisions will make all of things easier for you and relieve the burden of trying to make everything work. So it's a maturity, as I say, and I'm not saying you're immature. I'm just saying that this is bringing a different perspective, a different level of analysis to whatever the situation is. If it's a relationship, it may feel like you're slowing it down till you've sorted it out, and that may not feel quite as exciting immediately and quite as emotionally a payoff, but it will make it easier to do. If this is around something creative, you will be able to achieve, quite a fair amount about what you want, but you will be able to do it in such a way that it's better defined, so if you could get 90% of what you wanted from something, it's actually going to be worth more to you than 100% of something that was not as well focused, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I want to have a look at is, firstly, I want to look at what is alchemizing through this dragon power coming to you. And I want to do that because dragons and serpents are incredibly symbolically powerful within alchemy, and alchemy is all about transformation, about, literally they would talk about base metal to gold, so that's your ultimate manifestation process. It was the birth of chemistry because it was connecting sort of the principles of nature and spirituality with life and with the material world. And it also is a very healing and empowering process as well when we learn from the steps. So this feels to me like, as I say, this is taking you to the next level of understanding, of leadership, of connection, whatever it might be, and a kind of a moderation and a balance in what you do. So let's ask what the dragon energy coming to you can alchemize for you. We have mortification and the new pearl. This adds quite a layer to this, and now it's making even more sense to me, because the one thing that I was sort of like, I was kind of a little bit vexed to deal with, so I could almost feel your energy here in like what you want to do, and then try and look at both sides, was dealing with this Nine of Cups reversed. And I think it is, as I say, that there is a sort of a sense that you can get much of your dream but not all of it, but having done that, the payoff is that things are easier moving forward from there. These two stages in alchemy are meant to kind of stir things up and make you really reassess things, and they're meant to be a little bit irritating. So I have to say there's an energy in all of this where these dragons have come to you to say you are meant to become who you're meant to become, relieve the burdens, move forward and create and manifest. But you have to do this whether you want to or not. Mortification is going into the darkness, almost into the underworld. So literally in this one, I think it's almost like going into the volcano, to be honest. You go into the volcano to get to the depths, to clear out everything that is not working for you anymore, and to give you that openness for the other perspective. Then you can, in a sense, jump on the back of the dragon, fly higher and see things from a different perspective that allows you to do this. But you have to almost mortify your sense of I must have it all, so that you can work out how you can have the best outcome. And that's similar to the new pearl in a way, because you are meant to bring in something new, something out of all of this, a new stage in a relationship, a new career direction, a new creative thing, whatever it is that you're trying to get into balance, and you're trying to decide between just everything your way, regardless, and damn the consequences, compared to I can see both sides and I can come to a compromise that's maybe more sustainable and less of a burden to me and to everyone. The new pearl is that energy you're bringing into being, but just as a pearl is created by grit in an oyster, irritation is necessary. So I think that anyone who's come to this reading, if you come to the right reading, these dragons are here because they know you're kind of irritated by something. You're irritated about, what your way compared to what other people want, or it may be the opposite. You may know that you want to be true to yourself, but you know that there is a necessity to look at different sides, and you may be dealing with people that won't look at different sides. There's something that is you have to push through it, and the dragons are here to help you push through it, to give you the different perspective, but also the tenacity and the sense that yes, in the end you're on the right path, because you are, and you will create the pearl. That this is a bit of a push through both your own perceptions, your own ideas, test them, much as a scientist would test them. Is the hypothesis right? And listen to other people. And if you find other people are resisting that, you get an answer. If the other people don't listen, don't want to talk, don't want to engage, that tells you to go off on your own, because you've done all that you could do. So either way, regardless of what you manifest out of this particular situation, you're creating the pearl and you're relieving a burden from yourself. So let's see the kind of higher order manifestation ability that can come from dealing with this rather irritating but nevertheless powerful process that you would be going through, pile one. Clarity, yeah, you'll definitely have clarity. If it's been confusing for you or for others, you are definitely going to get this because and you are someone who does need clarity, and I think that's a good thing. That's not meant as a criticism. You are very much in your mind. Your mind needs to be satisfied. It needs to make sense. And you will also manifest intuition. You get the perfect balance. In fact, I think what this is saying is that you have probably tilted in developing your theories to the mind and to clarity, and that is a wonderful thing. But this process of transformation and seeing another side is opening up your psychic ability as well. That's how you get the balance. It's in your intuition and connection. You can work out where there are meetings of the mind and meetings of creativity and meetings of the heart and where there aren't. And you'll be able to know when you can cooperate and when you need to go out on your own. So it's just heightening that level of understanding. So let's also ask the dragons what they are trying to reveal to you by getting a couple of questions that they would ask you when you are considering all of this. So the first question is from the constellation of Gemini. What if judgment is just unfulfilled potential being mirrored back at us? Okay, yeah, what is similar between, this is the thing, whatever this issue is with a loved one, creative partnerships, work, whatever it is, there's more similar between you and these other people than is different. And you can, between clarity and intuition, try and work that out. Then you can make the decision. Is there a compromise possible? Or do you need to go off and do your own thing? But don't judge them too quickly. And if you feel judgment coming towards you, then look to what is in you that could be being mirrored here, because you might be able to use intuition and empathy to be able to find a way through. The second question they're suggesting that you ask so that this power is revealed is from the constellation Cygnus, and is, what if love is the bridge between you and everything? Okay, so for many of you, and I think it does depend what this is about, for many of you this may be about love, and it may be saying in the end, we love what is a combination of what is similar and what is different. And so that's that right up there. So if this is about love, there is huge potential in this with the King and Queen of Swords, definitely. But love is finding that balance between our true authentic self and what it is to be in partnership. And it could be love in another. It could be in a family situation. It could be in a work situation. But I think for many, this question is for those that this is relating to love, where you're trying to work out, is this the one? Is this one that I can commit to? What does that look like? What do they want? You need to have the conversation, basically. That's all it's really saying. And then the dragon energy will bring you the clarity and the intuition to make the right choices. So let's see what astrology might be able to help you in terms of perspective in using this dragon energy and the revelations of the dragon today. 12th house. Yeah, your intuition. You actually are very psychic. You just live in your head a lot. And as I say, I can understand that. But the more that you commune in with your intuition, that's going to make this easier to see both perspectives. It's not just a thing of, do they talk the same way as I do? It's actually, what it makes me think of is, for years I did industrial negotiations, so employee relations negotiations. And what I found, probably 9 times out of 10, is when there was a dispute, people weren't that different, and what was wanted was not that different. And there were points between what the business was trying to create and what the employees were trying to have personally in it that came together, because employees need a business to succeed if they're going to have a job and they're going to get pay increases and so forth. Equally, employers need to have motivated employees and loyal employees to have that happen as well. But they often almost use different language, different ways of expressing things. And when you could actually find the way through that was actually the 2 types of language and bring it to the middle, then you could actually find the negotiated outcome and find that there was a lot more in common. So I think this is sort of saying it's partly maybe the way you talk about things. It might be use your intuition and listen to how the other person talks, because you may be able to find where there are connections if you're wondering if this is something that can be resolved. Then we have waxing gibbous moon. Clarify your direction and intention. So yeah, like this will help you determine, how much you need to be independent, how much do you need to cooperate. And square. This is an aspect of tension. It's saying over and over, this is probably a tense situation already, or as you start to look into this, it's going to kind of push up against you. It's going to irritate you a bit. This is why it's really important to go into the intuition and into empathy, and listen for what's similar, because there is more similar than you think. Because it's just like And it may even be, as I say, that for some of you, you're trying to have this dialogue with someone and the last thing they want to do is talk about this. But if you can get to the point where there's a way to talk about it or think about it, then you're going to find out of that pushing, taking the action, doing it, you can actually come out with a good decision. So now we just want to ground the dragon power in you to close out the reading. So we're firstly going to get a couple of crystal chakra cards for some affirmations about bringing it into your body. And then we're going to finish with a card from the Rainbow Oracle for what your 5D self has to say about what the dragons have brought to you today. So firstly, we have throat chakra. So yes, how you speak, dialogue. In one form or another is really, really important to this. Communication is really important to it. And third eye chakra and intuition. It really is a balance of both. Clarity comes through having discussion, through using your throat chakra, through having a dialogue, but true understanding comes through almost a telepathic intuition once you've opened that door. So the crystal for your throat chakra to help you here is turquoise, which is about purpose and clairvoyance. So it is making the connection to the third eye again. The affirmations are, I utilize my psychic gift of clairvoyance and I align my true life purpose. So this is why this dragon is here and was the dominant one to come in. You do have to make sure that in the end, whatever decision you make takes you further on your life purpose. But you can understand different points of view. You can come to compromises without in any sense compromising that too much. With the third eye chakra, you have blue aragonite, which brings calmness and relaxation. The affirmations are, I take time for self-care and relaxation, and I remain calm in times of stress. So there will be some stress around this pile one. I can't sugarcoat it. There will be. But you really do have all you need to pour oil on troubled waters, and do take time out. If it gets to that point where you've just hit a bit of a brick wall, take time out. Come back another day when tempers are cooler and when people are ready to talk. I just think most of you are you're in a transitional situation with one or more people. So last but not least, let's see what energy your 5D self wants to sort of portray or talk about in relation to using the power of the dragons for you today, pile one. Way changer. You're a liberating force here to inspire change and challenge the system. So certainly for any of you that this is around work, this is building a real skill set for you. It's a natural skill set, but it's taking it to another direction and another level. Might be why I was thinking about the employee relations. But this could also be within relationships, within love relationships. Your love partner might not be as comfortable with these sort of conversations as you can be, and you may be able to show how it's safe to do that and how you find what is true between you and how to do it in a way that is respectful of their autonomy and their choice just as much as yours. So whatever this is, this power is to help you be a change agent and a leader in one form or another. So it's irritating as hell probably. I'm sorry, pile one, but on the other hand, the dragons are here to make sure that you have the power and the wisdom to rise to the occasion. So I have no doubt you will. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile two, to your reading. So you've come to the reading with vision, contemplating the future. So that dragon is all about looking within and also looking out to the celestial realm. So within and without for what is your future, who can you be? And it definitely is a herald of you having great intuition, great sort of spiritual and psychic ability, great clarity in what you see in your future, and to trust that. And it's interesting that the best friend forever for this dragon for you is this very small but lovely little dragon that's coiled around this girl's head, which is about trust, love and friendship. So there is something in this. This combination want you to be able to see the vision of a future, I think, either with a loved one, like a love partner, or a friend, or a group of friends, or just to be really open to the fact that you are worthy of love and that you will be loved and that is in your future, and you can, with confidence, follow your life path, your fate, and know that you will always have good people with you. You can trust in that, and you put a high value in that. So this is why this little dragon is here, to sort of like always make you know, there's literally a little dragon on your shoulder to make you know that you will always have the companions you need when you need them, but you can be brave to go out and follow your own vision. So that's a really lovely energy. For some of you, this could be because you're embarking on a love relationship and you're wondering whether or not it's the one. I would say with this, trust your heart, and at the very least, it's a very positive relationship. Whether it becomes a long-term one will be up to you and your partner. But there is something here, if that's the case, about do you share a kind of vision to move forward? That may be a way to know, is it a friendship or a love relationship? For others of you, it just might be about you're embarking on something very new, a new career, you want to travel, you want to explore yourself in some way, and you will have people around you. So knowing that, I think that gives you that sense of comfort. So let's see, with tarot, what is the dragon power bringing to you now in a little bit more detail? The Emperor reversed, the Empress reversed, oh, that's interesting. The Ace of Wands, Queen of Cups reversed, Knight of Cups reversed. Okay. So this could be meaning, this is for a number of different people. This is a number of different people who have come to this that I think need the comfort of the dragon, friendship and love, and of having that sense of the new vision. All of you do have a sense of a new vision with the Ace of Wands here, whether it's a new love, a new passion, a new sort of attraction, whatever it might be, or it might be a new creative endeavor, wanting to travel, as I say, freedom. All those energies are there. This is this dragon saying, trust that is blessed. There is a blessing around you. But to get to that, and why the dragons are saying we will be your companions, and so will others, and you will find love, is that most of you have been dealing with an issue that is maybe problematic there. On one hand, I feel with the Emperor and the Empress reversed, there's something around power, authority, or nurturing figures in your life that have maybe not agreed with the vision you had for yourself, the way you wanted to love, the way you wanted to present yourself. So this dragon is here to reconnect you to your vision and to say that the programming of the past, in whatever form it was, parents, broader family members, teachers, even dominant sort of friends or dominant workplace colleagues or bosses or whatever, are not meant anymore to keep you down. But you may feel like without that, like it was almost like that was my connections. Even if they didn't approve fully of me, I had to kind of do what they wanted because they were my connections. There is something else coming through for you. Similarly, some of you may have felt that you had to hide your true emotional, authentic self with the Queen of Cups reversed, and this, you don't have to be a woman for this to be the case, but with that energy, for love, for romance, and whether it's to sort of fit in with what, as I say, nurturing figures thought you should want to love and who you should want to love, or whether it was just that you constantly were putting your emotional needs to the side to draw in romantic partners. This is time to understand you need to follow your vision. That will bring it in, that the regrets of the past you can let go. You're not going to be alone. This is what the dragons are telling you. But you're going to find better patterns than this, pile 2, when you just believe in following your vision and you don't worry about having companions. The dragons will be with you anyway, but you don't worry about that or having love. That then means you're no longer bargaining on both sides to get it, bargaining for the approval of those that are the nurturing figures, bargaining for the approval of someone who might be a love interest. Now, it doesn't mean you could be with someone at the moment and it could actually turn out to be a good love interest, but it will only do it if you are true to yourself. So let's ask, what can the dragons help you transform so that you can move out of, I think, these old patterns into this new pattern? How can they help you transform? Oops. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Page of Pentacles reversed. King of Pentacles upright. Justice. Wow, okay. All right. So firstly, what I'm really getting about this is the interesting thing is this is about you following your vision and having the right companions. It feels like you have a hell of a lot of people around you, whether it's sort of family, friends, lovers or whatever, and most of them are not aligned with where you're going. There is the capacity to find someone who is, or to become your own sovereign out of this and follow your own pathway and so forth. But it just feels like, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, it's sort of like transforming a lack of commitment around those who were with you, commitment of love partners, commitment to your well-being from nurturing people or from bosses or whatever. a lack of stability. You can transform that, and you can transform the kind of almost depressing effect this was having on you, allowing you to plan, to use the energy that this dragon wants you to use, which is to think into the vision into the future. You can transform all of that kind of material instability that is around all these people who have an opinion on you, and you should be following your own sort of passion and your own ideas, into you being sovereign to yourself and bringing in the balance that you want. If this is around work, it could be moving from feeling very unstable and insecure to being a leader and having, like, a new job, a new contract, a new opportunity. If this is about love, it could be from going from relationships that felt very insecure to ones where you do see a future, including potentially things like marriage, if that's something that you want to do. So it's like you've got lots of people around you because you have a lovely energy and people want to be around you, but a lot of them, they want what they want from you rather than from what you would get from them. And so it's sort of like really trusting in your vision and moving forward to bring in your sovereignty, can bring in the better ones. This is what these dragons want to transform. They want you to know you won't be alone, because you're just not the sort of person who will be alone. People are very drawn to you, but you've got to start to put some demands on what that looks like so that you are sovereign within this. So let's also ask then what they can help you manifest. And I'm sorry if you can hear that noise in the background. I'm not sure if it's coming up on the microphone or not. I can never tell till after I've filmed, but somebody's gardening outside with a weed whacker or something. Hopefully it's not too disruptive. Okay. What can the dragons help you manifest? 10 of Swords reversed. Strength reversed. Temperance. The Hanged Man reversed. Okay. So for a start, they can take a lot of this drama out. There's drama around you, I think. Around friendships, around love relationships, around, family, around work. They can take a lot of the drama out. They can literally kind of take these swords out of your back, so to speak, so that you can move forward. They can also help you start to heal, because I think you need to heal from some of this. You won't instantly overnight have all your strength back. They will start to bring it, and they will start to show you how strong you could actually be. It's sort of like almost like you really wanted connection, and that is part of what you're going to have in your life, but you've looked for it in the wrong places and it's sapped your strength. But they'll take you through that. They can help you manifest a better sense of balance that then gives you that sovereignty. They also help you manifest a different perspective on this. You've got to value yourself, pile too. Your energy is lovely. You wouldn't have these sort of dragons around you if it wasn't. But people consciously or unconsciously have taken advantage of that. This is meant to bring you the power to know, even if you felt like you had to walk away from everybody, and I doubt you do, but even if you did, even if you went, you know what, I'm picking up sticks and I'm going to go and live in another city and I'm starting again, even if you decided to do something like that, you will find your people once you start to determine what your real vision and your real light on the hill is, basically. And they can help you manifest more balance in your life and a different perspective where you're not feeling you've got to dance to the tune of all these other people. So I think they're there to show you that you're loved, basically, and that in believing that, you will bring it in the 3D world as well. Okay, so let's have a look at certain aspects of this. So the first thing I want to do is look at what you're alchemizing, because dragons and serpents are a very strong symbol in alchemy, and alchemy is all about what we can transform, build, grow, both spiritually and also materially in our life. And it's also a very healing energy, and I feel like you do need a bit of healing to get back in touch with your heart so that you draw in the right companions. So let's have a look at what they are helping you alchemize with their support and their power. Resin and rotation. This is very interesting because I think resin operates on a couple of levels, and then this is like a procession from that depending upon which level it's operating on. So resin can mean one of two things. Resin is a substance that many things can be sort of preserved in. Artists use it, like it can be, you can put, butterflies in resin, and that kind of thing. So there's a sense of this can contain something. And I do think this is saying that part of this transformation, this alchemizing for you, is to understand where you've been contained by the wrong things, the wrong requirements of others, the wrong sort of power balances or demands of others so that you can break free of it. But it is also a protective energy. So I think the dragons are saying that move from the resin that what you felt was protective but was actually just constraining of old patterns of relationships. Let them protect you as you transform so that you can then bring in the right sort of relationships. So I think it's a very powerful message from the dragons that they are protecting you. And then it's because when you go through this process, you will go through it a number of times. So when you really start to follow who you are and follow your vision, your intuition, the powerful sort of clairvoyance and so forth that you have, and you start to draw in the right people, there will be times where some of this patterning comes back and you need to understand it and protect yourself and call on their protection and move on, because you are a very caring person. And you're not going to ever get to a point where there's never anybody around who might want to take advantage of that, consciously or not. But if you keep doing this process and you keep clearing your energy and you keep drawing in people that are right for you, soon, instead of having a plethora of people around you who are all demanding things of you and not giving much back, and then maybe one or two good people, you're going to have a plethora of people around you who are true, wonderful companions and who love you for yourself, and maybe one or two people that are irritating, and you'll know how to balance them. So this is a process for you to start to really learn how lovable you are and what is reasonable for you to demand, so that you can get that kind of temperance and balance. Okay, so given that, let's see what you can manifest. What kind of manifestation can come out of going through this process under the protection and guidance of the dragons? Clarity. That's interesting. That came up for another reading. So yeah, but it makes sense for this as well too. Clarity on what are the things that you would want in your life. Clarity on when it isn't right for you. And ambition. The ambition of your soul, the ambition of your vision. This doesn't just have to be about love partners. It could in some cases, but I actually think it's broader than that. I think there are people in positions of power who've maybe kept you down and you're meant to actually rise. There are people who've told you that, the life path you wanted to do was not the one that, your family would approve of, but you're meant to actually follow that and have ambition for what you do. Once you start doing this is what this is saying. Once you understand that you can release yourself and still have the protection necessary to bring in the right energies, you'll start to really open up your ambition, romantically, career-wise, creatively, whatever it might be. Okay, so we also want to ask the dragons for a couple of questions about what you could consider to really reveal the heart of this for you. So the first question that they would pose to you to reveal the heart of their message is from the constellation of Draco. What if all you needed to be was yourself? Yeah, there you go. Dragons really like you, I have to say. I think they really like you, particularly if Draco's turning up. But I think they want you to really see how beautiful you are. Okay, so the second question they want you to think about is, coming from Coma Berenices, how are the stories we tell ourselves part of the longer collective narrative? Okay, so this is the thing about what do you keep in resin and protect, what do you let go? What are the narratives that you want to take forward? What do you want to let go? The choices that you make and how you go through this process becomes you following your vision quest, your narrative. And it in turn, by your example, could potentially help and show others how to do the same thing. So that's very lovely. One of the reasons probably the dragons really like you, I think, Paul. So let's get you some wisdom of the stars to also help you along this pathway. We have Mercury, how you communicate with others, how you think, how you communicate, what you say. And you will have a very powerful way of communicating that will really help you with this. Mercury is very clever, quick, able to respond once it gets the clarity and understands what it's dealing with. We also have Pluto, major transformation. Yeah, this is going to, there's a lot of white noise in your life from a lot of people. This is going to shift a lot of things, a lot of energy, but it's needed. It's to a very beautiful outcome. And fourth house, who you are at home, who you are in your core, and who you want in your home. What have you learned in family situations? Who would you want to live with? Who are the friends that you would want to invite around? All of this needs to shift, and you can do it by communicating who you are and your needs a little bit more clearly. Okay, so to finalize this, what I want to do firstly is get you a couple of crystal chakra cards for bringing this power and energy from the dragons into your body, into your 3D self. And then we're going to ask your 5D self for its last comment, its advice in relation to the dragon power brought to you today. So firstly, a couple of crystal chakra cards. We have the heart chakra, so this is going to be about how you love and who you love, and it was always about this. And we have the sacral chakra, what you create, and things like fertility, family, all those sorts of issues. So for the heart chakra, we have green aventurine, which is about prosperity and transmutation. So all the heart transmutes, the heart brings in prosperity. The affirmations are, I transmute lower vibrational energies into higher ones, and I attract prosperity into my life by believing I deserve it. And you do. The dragons want you to understand. You deserve more than you've been giving yourself credit for, I would say. Sacral chakra, what you want to create out of this. We have tangerine quartz, which brings curiosity and playfulness. Yeah, and that's that. That feels so much like this little curious dragon wanting to have a bit of a game with his new friend there. Like there is something about getting back some joy rather than all this sort of suppressive energy. The affirmations are, I honour my inner child by being playful, and I always feed my curiosity. So that's very lovely. It's really just kind of enjoy yourself a bit more and get more into your heart and just trust that. So lastly, we're just going to ask for a message from your higher self about how to use this energy and this dragon power today. Pile 2. Lovers. Wow. Yeah. For most of you, this is to bring in a very good love, to sort out any kind of like, if there's an issue, but it is with a good love partner, to be able to sort it out and to be able to put the right kind of boundaries around it and to connect and to know that you have the same vision, or as I say, to bring in someone. I think for most of you this is about bringing in love, but even if it isn't a romantic love, it could be getting balance within yourself. It could be getting more loving relationships. The dragons and your higher self are in complete agreement on this. They believe that you are a very lovable person and that you deserve more love than you have been feeling that you've been experiencing, and once you start to believe that and move in that direction, that's what you'll bring in. So I hope that resonates, pile 2, sorry. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with returning, going with the flow. So as I said in the introduction, there's probably a sense around this that there's something you want to revisit, something that you want to look at again. And I think this has to do with leadership, creative leadership, work leadership, potentially relationship leadership, but I think this is about power. I think the people who've come to this reading are very powerful people, but it feels to me, particularly with dominance, believing in yourself here, that what has happened to you and what the dragons want to bring you power to now reverse and move on from is maybe there's been a reversal. You know, this could be that you missed out on a promotion, you didn't get a job that you went for, you had a proposal at work you wanted to take forward that didn't get up, but there's much in it that could still happen. It could be a sporting thing. You could be incredibly physically powerful and you could have not won the last race, but you're ready, you're coming back even stronger and better. But with dominance, believing in yourself, you're meant to win now. And this card talks about that any second you could just open up your dragon mouth and roar with fire and everybody would have to sort of sit back. You have a lot of power that you keep in strict regulation, but you know how to use it. But there's been something, the dragons are saying, where maybe something didn't quite work out the way that you wanted, and you've done the work, you've gone back and you've thought it through. Part of your power is you've been able to analyze that, and you've built up your strength in whatever might have been missing, or you've read the signs for a better time to bring something forward, and you're ready to shine, you're ready to dominate, and they're right with you. They want you to really take a leadership role. So let's see with tarot a little bit more about what power they're bringing to you and why. It's definitely going back and doing something again, or taking a particular project and doing something a bit different with it, something like that, definitely. Okay, so we have the Empress, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, Strength, oh my goodness, Five of Cups. Yeah, there was a disappointment. Something didn't work out. but you can return to it. The thing about the Five of Cups, in nearly all decks you will see that have sort of a portrayal as opposed to sort of sigils or whatever for the minor arcana, that what is being portrayed is that 3 or so cups are spilled. Something didn't work out, but there's always a couple of cups, or at least one, that is upstanding. That is meant to say there is still something here. There is still something that can be taken forward. And this is the message of these dragons. If you've come to the right reading, you'll know what this is. As I say, it could be a project, it could be a career option, it could be anything. Could even be going for the person that you love and you got rebuffed, but now you've kind of worked out they're sort of more ready to sort of, not be friends or whatever. But I think for most of you with Knight of Pentacles, this is about work, career, material things in some way. But you are now in a much stronger position. You've built your strength and you've planned it out better. You're ready to be committed and take it through from beginning to end, but you've got a plan. This is maybe the difference. You are meant to manifest here. You're meant to be abundant. You're meant to nurture yourself and others. I think there is something in this that will help other people. So it's part of the reason why the dragons are wanting to support you. But you've done the material work. And as I say, some of you, this could be like competitive sport or something. You've done the physical work, you've nourished your body, you've done the exercise program, you're very strong. Whatever this is, there's something that's material that you're going to commit to now and take it forward because you really know what you're doing now. You probably had a lot of natural talent and strength. Now you have the plan as well. This is how you're going to be able to return to something that didn't work and make it work for you. So let's ask what it is that the dragons are going to help you transform in this situation for you. And we have 8 of Cups. And if you can hear that noise in the background, I'm sorry, there's gardening going on outside. 9 of Cups reversed. Knight of Cups. The Emperor. Okay. So for some of you with all these cups, it could be something romantic. It doesn't feel like that to me, but it could be. But I would say what it is saying, that is whatever this was that didn't work out, that you kind of walked away from, I think. I think you did walk away from it because it didn't sort of return what the love, the energy, the happiness, the wish for you. You're ready to come back. You've worked it out. And as I say, it could have been you walked away from a relationship, didn't work, but you can now see that it could work. That could be going on here. But I would say for most of you, as I say, it's something material, something creative. And you did. I think you literally did walk away from it. But now you can transform that decision, come forward again with a different offer, a different plan, and you can really master. You can really dominate. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way. So if it is like a competition in some way that you didn't win because you weren't quite ready, this time round you're going to win big time, basically. There's so much strength. So much strength, and it's balancing out. Maybe you were too much of a nurturer before, now you also have to be a leader. There's something that's shifting that's really got your strength ready for this, and that's what you're meant to transform the disappointment into the victory. So let's see what the dragons are therefore helping you manifest. And we have 4 of Pentacles reversed, 3 of Pentacles reversed, 4 of Wands reversed. This is interesting. 9 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. What this is telling me is whatever this was, you had the wrong people around you. So, and it kind of got you a bit stuck. So this is to get you to be able to move forward to the material plan. You had the wrong collaborators, the wrong foundation. You're meant to be able to shift past that. Like it's, whatever this is significantly transformed. So if it was a creative project, and it didn't say, so to use an example, say it was, you wrote a novel and you sent it out to agents and it just didn't take. You've actually gone back to and you've significantly transformed it. You've significantly changed it. But you've done it because you can see where the strength is, not because you're crowdsourcing views, because this is definitely saying that if you had a tendency to be looking for others to collaborate with, you're actually meant to lead. You're not meant to be a team player. It doesn't mean that you can't do work with teams, but you're meant to be a leader. You are meant to connect with other people, but in a different role. So this feels like, you're meant to be, the boss. You're meant to be the team captain if you're in a team. It's that kind of thing. It's transforming a grounding that was too limiting for you and that was at too low a level, so that when you connect with others and you manifest with others, and you will do that, you're the emperor. You're the emperor and the empress combined. So, wow. Really interesting. So let's see what you alchemize. So I wanted to look at alchemy because the serpent and dragon energy is very powerful in alchemy symbolically, and alchemy is all about transformation and using sort of powerful transformation to bring about something that we want. And you're going through a powerful transformation to come even more into your power. So let's see what alchemy energy is operating around you with the dragon support at this point. The blue temple and the golden rose. Wow. So this is very interesting because everything to now has been talking about something that feels very material, competition, business, sort of could be potentially love, but material things where you are moving from a position of disappointment and possibly being one of many to being a leader and success. And that is still the case. But part of your power, and maybe even part of what has brought these powerful dragons to you, and part of what will be your success, is understanding that there is always mystery, that you can get to a level of mastery, you can get to a level of leadership, but there is almost a humbleness but before the mystery of the divine, of the celestial realms, whatever that is. The blue temple is about all the sort of energies of inward contemplation. Certainly suggests that you have gone through an enormous amount of self-reflection and that you have used it really well. At its best, the blue in here is like the blue of the peacock tail. The peacock energy and symbol comes up in alchemy after what is called the Negredo, where all of the elements are burnt out, so that the peacock can arise, and it's the beginning of the great work. It's the beginning of rising, which is what you're doing. So this definitely says that you've been using contemplation well, and you are going to the pinnacle of what you can do in whatever this is. Sorry, I just had to pause because the phone was ringing. So, as I say, this is the pinnacle. You are coming to the top of something, I think. The top of your field, the top of your sport, a leadership position, whatever it might be, and you are meant to be there. But the core of the culmination of the alchemical process, which the golden rose represents, is that within is still the mystery. There is still more. And so it could be saying you have got to the pinnacle of what you thought, and then there's actually going to be broader vistas that come. Or it might be that having got to that point, you're going to understand something very profound about the nature of life, spirituality, reality, which you can then share with others and lead on that kind of level that has a very spiritual level. But there is something, you are getting to a real pinnacle of success. You are going to turn this around, definitely. But once you get to that level, you will know it's, you've climbed one mountain. Hey, there's an even bigger mountain you have to climb next. But, you're more than ready to do it. You're more than strong enough to do it. So this is profoundly powerful, I have to say, pile 3. So let's see what you can manifest right now, having gone through this process and with the support of the dragons. So we have beauty. Okay, so there will be something beautiful in what you do, something beautiful in what you create, something beautiful, again, like if you're an athlete, it will be beautiful to watch you in action. There's something that is very lovely and people will respond to very, very well. And healing. So if you've had that kind of sense of disappointment, you will heal. You will heal from this. You will realize what your power is and who you're meant to be. You will realize even what it was that the disappointment was giving you in terms of wisdom so that you could come back stronger. It's interesting. It actually makes me think, because so much of this feels physical. When we exercise, when we sort of build our muscles, for instance, what we're actually doing is damaging them. And then in the healing process, they come back stronger. So there's something in that kind of energy for what's happening here. So we also want to ask the dragons what questions they want you to reflect on to reveal the true nature of what their gift is that they're bringing to you. So the first question comes from the constellation of Serpent. So yes, the dragon energy again. What if you outgrew the idea that you are not enough? Yeah. If you haven't outgrown this yet, you're going to by the end of this, because you are more than enough. And as I say, you are meant to rise. And the second question they want you to ask, pile 3, is from Hercules, strength again. Ask yourself, what are you really fighting for? Yeah, that's the call. What is it? Because you're going to become top of class, leader, thought leader, creative leader, athletic, star, whatever it might be, star on stage and screen, whatever it is. And some of it could be something like that, performance, sort of like beauty related. But, what are you fighting for? What is it that you want? Because you are moving into power, and so it is time now to really define what that is. Okay, so let's get you some wisdom from the stars for how to help really manifest this in the best possible way. We have the full moon, the harvest. Yeah, reap what you sow. You're meant to come into a victory. That's definite. But remember, it's a bit like this energy. You reach the pinnacle and then you realize, gee, there's the next harvest. There's the next thing to do. Then we have conjunction. Some of you, it's going to bring a very significant relationship in. Could be a business partnership. Could be a team that you're in but you lead. It could also be a love relationship. And Libra, balance, justice, fairness. Some of you, it's like a business contract, a work contract. But for others, it's like billing and beauty, like the beauty of balance, the beauty of everything being in right order, all of that kind of thing. There's that sort of energy, and very smart, very able to socially deal with this, to move with social ease into a position of, as I say, authority, dominance, leadership. Okay, so to bring all this together, pile 3, what I wanted to do was sort of bring it into your body and also ask your higher self about the power that the dragons are bringing to you. So firstly, we're going to get a couple of crystal chakra cards around affirmations to bring this energy into your body, and then we're going to ask your 5D self to give their thoughts on this as well to close out the reading. So in terms of bringing it into your body, we have throat chakra. So how you communicate with others is going to be important. That makes perfect sense if you're moving into a position of leadership. And we have root chakra, feeling secure, feeling safe. So if you had felt before that you weren't ready, you are ready now. You have the foundations and so forth. That energy before that we saw about sort of shifting out of where the foundations weren't right, the collaboration wasn't right, you're now going to have that. The throat chakra has blue apatite, which brings intellect and achievement. The affirmations are, I achieve whatever I set my mind to. And yes, you're going to. You're a powerhouse. And I choose to lead intellectual discussions. Yeah, a lot of you, this is about thought leadership, about being the one who can get people to have aha moments. The root chakra here, which has red carnelian, which is about stabilization and vitality. I see the vitality in all things and I invite stability into my life. So this certainly can bring all of that and vitality. I also feel for some of you, this might be, as I say, athletic. It could be sporting or something like that, or dancing, performance, things where the body is involved. And this is bringing you both the vitality to move forward and also the stabilization to make it balanced, to make it all seem effortless, even though there's a lot of work that you've put into it. Okay, so to close out, we're just going to ask your higher self, your 5D self, for their perspective on this power that the dragons are bringing to you, pile 3. Sacred self, you are powerful. Live your life from a place of fullness and honor your perfect wholeness. So yes, I think basically your 5D self agrees furiously with the dragons here that you are powerful, ready to step into your power, and that there is a sacredness to this, and that you are ready to be the leader, the winner, the creator, whatever this is. You've learnt from your mistakes, if they were mistakes, or from what didn't work before. You've come back stronger, you've come back ready. Your time is now, pile 3. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.